afternoon.
It's not going.
Good morning and good afternoon. Good morning and good afternoon. Good morning and good afternoon. Good morning and afternoon. Maybe do we move that thing over? Hello! I have been singing to you.
Technical difficulties.
Well, good morning again, or good afternoon. We're coming to you a little early today, and today we are talking about turning objections into solutions. One of the things that we really help our clients with is messaging and sales, and really getting an in-depth look of what's going on in their business and how they can serve their clients. And really turning objections into solutions. You can do that with your relationships, with your kids, your husband, the person behind the counter. It's really something we can all learn. It's a little bit of it is positioning. And when people give you what's going on, their story, that's really what you want to talk to, because that's their belief. That's their statement. That's their truth. And you can always turn back into it. So there's really three key objections that you get when you're selling. Quickly top line them, I will tell you it's money. They don't have the money. They don't have the time, or it's a belief issue. Those are the kind of the three that we focus in on. So let's break those down for you, right? Is that something interesting? Are those objections you use or objections that you hear?
Go ahead and post in the comments. Let us know what you have experienced as objections, and we can talk about and we can continue to talk back and forth about those if you guys come up with any objections, and we can tell you how we might handle those. When we're talking about money objection, a lot of people talk about not having the money, and what really has gone on in that is they haven't seen the value of your product or how your product is going to help them. And so when we really start looking at somebody saying they don't have the money, what they're really saying, honestly, is they don't have the money for you. And so what we have to do as people offering products, offering services, is help them to see how our product or our service is of value to them, but we can't do that by trying to convince them that ours is the thing. We have to help them understand by curiosity and by asking them questions about what they're really looking for that our product can solve, and then help them through that journey of the conversation to understand how this particular service, this particular product, this particular interaction is the thing that's going to help them get what they're looking for, their results they need. And we always say when value of the product or the service exceeds the price of it, then they're going to buy. And so really look at how you're talking about your particular service or your particular product, and don't talk about your product, talk about the results that they bring. And that's the biggest, simplest way to get past the money issue.
And a lot of the times you hear find their pain. That's kind of where this is, the whole conversation of turning their objections. It's kind of turning what their pain is. Like Terry talked about, they just don't have the money for you. It brings up a good story my mom used to tell me that her older brother, they would go to the drugstore around the corner, and her brother would always say, "Hey, Sharon, do you have some money for me?" And she goes, "No, I don't have any money for you," which is just really funny. And she likes that story, and it's really true. She's like, "I always had money, just I didn't want to share it with him." Anyway, love you, Mom. But really, it's talking about the pain that they have, that your solution is greater than the cost. Like, what's it costing them not to have the solution or the result that you're offering to them, and really just keep going back to that. So that's kind of the money one, where he's talking about it exceeds that price. So I totally agree.
Right. And the second one we talk about is time. People seem to think that there's a big time investment in what you're offering, and they don't have the time because they need an answer right now. And so or they have some other service that they're engaged in, and they decide that they're going to put whatever you're talking about off until they finish the other one. And so we do all kinds of things like that, and really what's going on is the person hasn't, again, seen the value, but they're also overwhelmed, or they're experiencing some kind of situation where they're spending so much time doing all of their other stuff, they think one more thing is going to crush them in some way rather than actually help them move forward. And so again, it goes back to curiosity and asking them more questions about what they're wanting and why they're wanting it, and helping them to go through that journey to understand what they're going to save as far as time by using your product or your service, what they're going to be able to do because your product or service is going to help them out more. And so one of the things that, well, you go ahead.
No, it sounded like you were finishing a thought.
So I know for me, one of the things that I talk about with our coaching, a lot of times people say, I don't have time because I have this and I have this, I have all of these different things going on. And one of the things I really get to with my clients when we first start talking about this is we have so many things going on because we don't know what order or we don't have a specific strategy in order to take care of what's priority. And one of our key core components of coaching is really to help prioritize. And so that's the first thing that we would start looking for with you in that coach journey, that we will help you to prioritize so you have more time, you get more done, you start making the money that you're looking for in record time. And so it makes it more attractive, so their time problem becomes our solution.
So I totally, it's exactly what it is. So he's hearing that their objection is that they're feeling overwhelmed, that they already are spinning too many plates, so they don't have time. So, hey, solution. That's one of the first things that we'll get on a call and discuss. We'll discuss how to solve that spinning plates issue and figure out your priorities. How does that sound to you? Oh, okay. That's just what I said my objection was. They just solved it. Wow, they're really good problem solvers. So do you guys see how that's working? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Right. Yeah.
And so the third one we're talking about is belief.
Huge.
And this is where everything really comes from, is they don't have a belief that either their problem is solvable or that you have the answer, and they have to continue looking. And so they're going to buy somewhere because they came to you and actually listened to you and had a conversation with you. So that right there, and this goes for all objections. If they have an objection, they also have an interest if you have the answer.
Great.
The problem is we have not, in our sales conversation, which is really more of a discovery or a connection with them about what they're wanting, and we haven't got to the bottom of what they really want, and we haven't had some kind of level of belief that this is going to work for them. Or the other piece that's really, really interesting that I've seen is a lot of people don't believe that even if this is the perfect answer, that they're going to be able to do it. And so it's not just a belief in your product or you, it's a belief in themselves. And so one of the first things I do is, and I got this from a guy named Grant Cardone, and it just stuck with me and it was amazing, is he asks them as soon as they have that no, okay, you seemed really interested, so is it the product, is it the price, or is it me? Because when you do that, it really takes the light off of the other person, and it gets them to open up about what's really going on. And then we can really have a conversation. And the funny thing is I've never had, and he says he's never had, anybody say, yeah, it's you. And if it is, then you know right away that you don't want to have a working relationship with somebody that has a problem with you. So it's great, you move on fast. But once they say, no, it's not you, you're great, I just don't know, now we can understand if it's a product, if it's price, or if we have to do a little coaching around self-belief. And when we get there, we can really start moving to the commitment of what they want and why they want it.
And I mean, self-belief is such a huge component of what we do as well. That's one of I don't like to use the word holistic because we naturally think of like
A doctor,
a doctor and
naturopath.
thing, but it's really an encompassing component of what we do. We take the fundamentals of business, but we also take the personal awareness of what's going on with you and move you through if that is your own belief. Like I've bought a lot of coaching programs and I haven't moved through anything, but lots of times people are identifying, hey, we are the missing link that they've been looking for to really move their business forward, because it takes both angles to really propel you and your business forward. So that the belief is really, is this going to work for me? But like Terry said, they got on a call with you to discover more of what's going on, what you can offer. It's really funny to me sometimes when people say no before they even hear and say, oh, I just don't have the money, before they even hear what the price is. It's really quite funny to me that they've already come in with an objection. So that's why you want to know what your typical objections are that you hear from your clients and kind of keep a tally to that, so you are educated with when they bring it up to how you can move them forward. I mean, just like so many other things, sales is just practice. It's about inspiring people, asking the questions and being curious, like Terry's talking about, and just remembering that they got on a call with you, they're interested. Just remind yourself that.
Right. And you're in the business to be of service, at least as far as we're concerned. We're in the business to be of service. And so we want to help people if we can. But if we're not a fit, that's okay. If they don't need our services, that's okay. We don't want to be working with people who don't want to work with us. And we don't want to be working with people on projects or problems that we can't solve, because that wouldn't do anything for us and it wouldn't do anything for them. And so it just creates a situation that doesn't work. And so you got to really think about, really, we go back to the messaging part. Who's your target audience and what services or what problems do you solve is really the question. And then how are the results that they're going to receive? And when you know those things, it's really easy to sell, and it's really easy to work with the objections. And people talk about overcoming objections. We're not overcoming them. We're really seeking to understand what that person's resistance is to moving forward with their life, moving forward with their business, or moving forward in a relationship. Whatever it is, that resistance is fear. And so it's not overcoming an objection, it's really understanding it.
Just to add on to that, that reminded me, as we're talking about overcoming objections, that it's also, call them complaints. So as working in customer service for a while, or you've probably had a complaint if you're at a restaurant yourself, a complaint leads to a solution.
It's true, 100%.
That makes sense, right? So if you treat it as a complaint, or not overcoming, like, oh, I've got to climb this mountain to overcome it, just think, okay, one at a time, how can that be a solution? If it's a complaint, there's an answer, whether it's, faster recovery, wipe down my table, can I exchange this? There's a solution to it. So think about it in that terms too. It's a little bit easier to know that there is a solution if someone has an objection.
Right. And a lot of times when they, I'm going to go back to the belief one just for a minute, as something else popped in my mind, is a lot of people, when I was in psychology working in mental health, and parents or somebody would come in and start talking about, well, have you ever worked with this kind of thing before? What they're really doing, and at first, when I first got in, I was really green. I'd be like, how dare them ask that? I'm supposed to be able to do this and that and the other thing. And I get reactive, which really kills the sale, by the way. Don't get reactive. And what I came to realize over this question popping up over and over is, well, do you have kids? And I don't have kids, but I worked with teenagers and I worked with parents with difficult kids, and that was my area, and so I don't have kids. And what I realized was what they were really asking without saying the words is, can you help me? And what happened when I realized that, do you have this, or have you ever done this? They're really saying, can you help me? And when you realize that that's what they're asking, now we can have a conversation around that that's really calming, soothing, and able to move them forward towards the resolution. Yes, we can move forward together, or we're going to find you a better fit. And so, really, again, we're going to recap money, time, and belief. And if people think about, there's another one people often talk about is having a spouse, or I got to check with my spouse or something. And really, that's a belief issue that they're using the excuse of I need to talk to my partner, because oftentimes, and Grant Cardone says this in his sales book too, that the partner already knows that they've gone and looked at or wanted to do this, or they're not involved at all in the decision. And so the part I need to ask my partner in some way is really a smoke screen, because they're not believing yet. And so I go right back to, is it the product, is it the price, is it me? And then we can really have that better conversation. But so we're talking about the overcoming objections, or understanding their resistance to go forward. And the three are money, time, and belief. And so when you can really understand which one it is, you can really start having the conversation around those. And it's really a conversation instead of adversarial kind of thing, because coaching doesn't start after they buy. It really starts when you first start talking to them and make the appointment. And we're coaching them on how to make a good decision about how to move forward.
I mean, any sales has a little element of coaching, because you're coaching them through it. Like if it is a money issue, you're coaching them, oh, where can I find the money? Is it time? Oh, where can I find the money, or find the time? Or the belief, working through the belief that you will help them along the way.
Or they can do it.
There are resources for them. Yeah. So that's what we have today is, and we're sure this has been helpful to you of how to turn those objections into solutions. And we look forward to seeing you. What's the rest of the week? The rest of the week we will be on our friend Vicky's show of A Breakthrough. You might have remembered Vicky. She came in and really knows her target market. But we're going to be on her show tomorrow at 10 Pacific and 1 Eastern. And then we'll be on Miss Kathy's show from Deja Hue on Friday at the same time, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock. And both lovely ladies that we are going to be spending some time with. So we will see you there. Come join us for our conversations there.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions about how to get through particular sales situations, or you want to know more about that, reach out to us at generatorcoaching.com, or you can email us at info@generatorcoaching.com. Reach out, talk to us, or you can put the comment in below of what's going on. We'll reach out to you. And so if you want to know more, or you want some training around that, we're more than happy. We're excited to help, and we will see you tomorrow. How do you turn this off?